Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of my IKEA Pax new build. In this video I'm going to show you how I created these external IKEA doors using MDF. I bought the IKEA drawers, the IKEA frame and everything, and then customised it. So if you watch part 1, which is how I built the basic project that you see here, I'd say watch that first. Part 2 is the Hollywood mirror, and part 3 that you're about to watch is how I built all the framing, how I made these internal drawers look external. When you buy an IKEA Pax, I'm going to show you my husband's wardrobe. I have a separate video for this on my channel. This is how the drawers are. So they are designed to sit in the frame and behind the door. So the door will shut nice and neatly like that. But obviously what I wanted to do was make this look like it was one part. So above I was going to have the door. So on mine I have a door, and if I hadn't have built the frame out underneath it would be set back. So I'm going to show you step by step how I create this look, how I build the framing, how I build the whole thing. So let's get on with it. Okay, so I'm back from B&Q. I got all my MDF cut. I'm using 1.8mm MDF. The reason I'm doing that is because the doors that I am using from IKEA on the top half, that is the width of them. So to match it all, the frame 1.8mm. Obviously if you're going to make your own doors, not from IKEA, you can make it thinner if you wanted to, just make sure it matches. I've got a separate video how to prep the MDF, because when you cut the MDF you get a fluffy edge. So I've got a separate video of how to treat the MDF, prep it, seal it and get it ready for painting to make it really solid and to make it look more like the IKEA doors that I'm going to use as well. So that's on a separate video, I'll link that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the frame on, measure all the bits out. I have a complete list, my blueprints for this, linked in the description box below, which gives you all the measurements for all these bits, so you can check that out by clicking on the link below. So I'm going to get the frame on first, so I'm going to edge it all the way around. I have seen lots of people that make the frame and attach it together. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to push it straight on, and then I'm going to do the 3 drawers. So I'm going to make this one look bigger, and then this has a slight overhang, not massive but just a little bit. Then I will attach it. These are going to have individual gold drilled holes for the drawer fronts. Definitely going to have a gold ball on these. I'm not sure about this. I might add one like I'm going to put on the doors, but I've got to wait for them to come. They're really beautiful, so we'll see. But that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to frame it first, then I'm going to do the door fronts. So let's get on with that now. It has been a few days and I've left that to dry and looking amazing, and I'm about to cut out the drawer fronts. So I've measured obviously the space I've got, the 2 first, then once I've got those I'm going to adjust and work out the top one because I want to get these on perfectly, and then I'll do the top one. I do like working sort of down up. So I'm going to cut those and then I'll show you. shortcut on my snazzy new machine. I'm actually going to do a separate review on this machine because I've been eyeing it up for ages and I really like it. It's really good. It wasn't mega expensive, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't, some of them are a lot of money. And this is transforming because I'm able to cut much deeper cuts. So I'm going to do a review on that just so if you've never used one, to show you how easy it is to have one of these yourself. It's my third one. So I've just cut my drawers, as you've seen, and I also made the screw holes for the doorknobs. You'll notice I've got a line here. I'm actually going to be putting shaker style trim around it, so I worked that out with the width I'm going to use. So that's door front number 1 and door front number 2. So I'm actually going to use no more nails to attach them, and then once I'm going to leave them, and once they're dry, I'm then going to screw in from that side, and then obviously then I'll put in the knobs as well. So that'll hold it that way, and the screws will hold it that way. So it's super secure. The no more nails I don't think it's enough, so putting some screws the other side. So just make sure if you are screwing from the other side, this is 18 mils thick and this is 9 mils thick. So I've got some 25 mil screws that I picked up from B&Q to screw across, but I'm going to get these glued on and then I'll show you once I've got them in the perfect gap. I'm going to use just some thin pieces of wood and cardboard just to give it some little spaces. I haven't got any proper spaces, but I'll just use little scraps of it so I've got just when I put them on. So I'll do that now. So next up, you'll notice I have this top tray in and I've been playing around. I thought I'd practice what I'm going to do before I actually show you. So what I've done is I've started adding some trim. Now with the plain drawer, basically I've had lots of pieces cut. I've cut some and I went to B&Q and I've had the pieces cut into 3 centimetre lengths. So this is 9mm MDF. The frame on here is 18 mil. IKEA doors are 18 mil. So that's kind of how I work around. So the frame is 18. So therefore the doors need to be 18 millimeters stuck on the front. So what I've done is I've got 9mm for the back and then my trim, so it brings it to the front, is 9mm as well. So the total is 18 millimeters. So all I did was cut it down to shape, cut it down to the right length, you can see here. So I've got a long piece here, 2 little short bits, and I've basically stuck it down with no more nails. I already cut the holes, you saw me do that. So now that's on, I've left it overnight, it's dry. I'm going to go around and do lots of other, well, the rest of the drawers really. I've just built all the drawers to go on this side. So what I'll do is I'll get all those built, put in. Yeah, I'll show you how I attach them all, but that's one I did yesterday quickly. Just want to test it out first, so I'll actually show you. So this now is 18 mil. Again, I've got a little bit higher as well here, and I've certainly gone down a little bit as well. And then the next stage is adding the detail. Now this is obviously personal choice. You can add any detailing you want. You can keep it, you could have just had flush front doors with a handle if you wanted to. So now I'm going to get this bit all put in, framed exactly like I did on this one, and then I'll show you me attaching the drawer fronts. So it's been a few days, they're all dry, solid as a rock. I tend to put nails in between so you can pull them out because it's quite tricky. Once if you put them all in, you can't actually get them out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and do lots of filling. Fill all the little side bits, go down the sides, make sure that's nice, then I can give it a really good sand. And then I'm going to put the remaining ball bits on, which I've done over there. I'm unsure about the top. This I'm going to leave plain, because I can't really do anything else because it's not deep enough, and I almost want it, well, it's going to have a handle on it, or I could actually leave it without a handle so it just looks like that's a bit, because you can just put it like that. Maybe I'll leave that plain, not sure, but I've got to decide on the top bit. Now I've put the trim, but obviously it's very narrow. There's space just to put the handle on the middle. There's no space to put the bally things, but I'm wondering now whether it should be plain. The detail, I kind of think it needs to match because that might be a break. I'm not sure, we'll see. But yeah, I've got to fill all the little gaps, get that all done, put the balls on, and once I've done that, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm quite happy how this has turned out. One thing that I hadn't thought about, this is 18mm, so I had a piece of 18mm here and realised that in order for this to pop out, I needed to bring this forward a little bit. Which I've done. So what I did was, very simply, is I stuck another piece of this on. So this is actually quite a thick drawer, as you can see here. I had to put another piece. So ideally what I should have done is put a 18mm piece there and then my trim, but I didn't. So I put a 9 and a 9, glued that on, brought it forward. So now it's all trimmed. I'm now going to put the little bits on, but I'm really happy how this works. It was fairly simple to cut the door, so that fits above there with the lighting on, and that shuts. You just adjust the door slightly, but I can do that with the hinges. So that's what that looks like. Really happy how it looks actually. So now I'm going to continue. Now you'll notice here I did take it off. I thought it looked ridiculous. So I've replaced that with a single piece of 18mm. That's just drying. I need to slightly tweak the, so it's better like that. It's just lifting, but that's the bracket, not this is all level. So there we are. So I'm now going to put on final bits of trim, the little balls, glue them on, and then I'm going to hot foot it over to B&Q at some point. I need more wood. So once I've got all the trim on, I'll show you when I get to that level. And one thing I did do is I drilled the holes. I measured when I stuck my other piece on to make that easy, and just screwed that in so I can open it. That's a little tip. So make the holes that you need, then just a slightly fatter screw that just catches, just to keep it opening. It makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to crack on adding the detail. I'm now going to start doing some filling. So all of these corners, all of these bits, all the edges, get everything super smooth. I'm using my favourite, which is this one, which is the quick drying polycell one. I really like something. It's really smelly, but I think it's really good. It sands really nicely, so you can kind of splodge it, and then when you get your sander out, it really does smooth nicely. So I like to use this one. So I'm going to go around now and do all of the corners, all of the bits, wherever it needs a bit of sanding, because it doesn't quite line up, and get that done now. I'm waiting to collect the second door tonight from Tesco car park from IKEA. That's a separate one. I haven't quite decorated, just stuck the little balls on that one actually, but I'm going to get this bottom piece sanded and done, and then when I collect the other door I can attach that and do that in one go. So I'm going to get on with that right now. So there we have it. Here is the finished result. The top piece, when I did the runner and added it on there, once I put it in, I decided to just glue a strip across the top, which I literally just glued on. I put some blocks behind it and then glued it upwards, so it kind of sealed it a little bit, but it's still a good size. But you could adjust this. I put the skirting board, just glued that as normal, and then I actually added some trim across the bottom just to make it a little bit high, because my gap was quite big there. Where I could have changed that was obviously to make this drawer bigger, but you can adjust it to whatever you want. Basically made it up as I went along, but as long as you do your frame first, then you can make these any size that you like. One other thing I did on the edge as well, you'll see there, is I just added a little bit of trim that just gave it that rounded edge and painted it, which I think made it look better. So depending if you do watch my video where I added all this cladding and stuff, or if you do MDF, you might have a neater edge, but the edge was a bit messy because it's that pine stuff. But I just added a bit of trim there, but you can adjust it as you want to. Obviously this piece here, which is on my main video, it was just put in and I put a front on it. I didn't put anything on there, because when you're sort of looking like that, it looks okay. The frame worked really well there. Again, I did put a little bit of trim on the side there, and I actually have run a little bit of trim there that I've got to actually give it another coat of paint. That's hiding the wires, because I decided afterwards, if I'd have obviously decided that at the beginning, I'd have put the wires around the back, just to give that nice trim there. So the best thing, if you've got not, you know, dead straight edges, is just get some really thin trim and then cork it, which is what I did. I've been doing a separate video on the decoration, a bit more detail, and I'll talk about other trims that I've done before as well on my video that I'm going to do in a bit. My next video, I've got 2 videos about painting. One is how to get the MDF smooth, because you have to put a special treatment on it so it's hard wearing. And then also about priming and painting IKEA furniture. So I'll do that in a separate video, because this one was nearly half an hour, so it's long enough. But I hope you found it helpful. This again was fairly easy. Just built the frame round, do that bit first. To do with any of these is put your rails on the inside of the IKEA, pop your door in so there you know your size, and then put your frame round and then adjust this shelf. So you could put your frame round, get the exact size, and then go to a big B&Q with a ball cutting machine and get them to cut all the drawers for you. If you don't have your own machine, you can measure up and they'll cut all that for you. So that's it. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. So check out my other videos. Do hit the subscribe button, because this is a series, I think 9 videos now, because it is quite a long-winded exercise, but I'm really happy how it turned out. So I hope it was helpful. If you have a go, let me know. Tag me on Instagram if you do have a go yourself. I'd love to see it. I think this would look superb on a normal Pax wardrobe, like 100 centimetre one with big wide drawers. I would like to do it, so I may well do it when I do Lily's one next door, some bigger drawers and different style of trim. This is just what I did on this one, which differs obviously from the trim I did on my wardrobes, which has this different detail. So there's lots of ways you can do it, but I thought I'd try this. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please hit the like button, as it does help the channel, and I shall see you on the next video.